the gospel. Some of y'all, even if you aren't Christians, have probably heard this word. And if you haven't, well then stick around because you gotta watch this video and hear what I gotta say the most. Now, if you have heard this word, maybe you just don't know what it means, also stick around because I'm gonna run it through it and you're gonna know officially what it means. Now, maybe you're thinking, Liam, I've been a Christian for a minute, I know exactly what the gospel is. Then you're still gonna wanna stick around because at the end of this video, I'm gonna give you some solid practical tips that I use to share the gospel with people in a way that doesn't seem weird or awkward. Let's go. Let's go. All right, so what is the gospel? The gospel is translated from a Greek word evangelion, which is where we get our word evangelical or evangelize, right? Now you know. But basically, all that word means is good news. Now, what specifically is that good news? Well, to answer that question, I got to tell y'all about some bad news. And to do that, I'm going to have to run this story back a little bit, okay? God creates the earth, right? And it's dope, right? And then he puts man on that earth. And man is, according to God, very good, right? So earth was good, man was very good. And so God tells man, he's like, yo, I created this earth, take care of it, name the animals, let's get it. And so man's like, all right, except God is like, just don't do this one thing, right? I got to tell you not to do this one thing because it's not in your best interest, right? Don't eat from the knowledge of good and evil, okay? Just don't do it. That's that one thing. Like, if you don't do it, me and you, we're going to walk in the cool of the day. It's going to be fresh. It's going to be nice. It's going to be beautiful. Name the animals. Eat the tree. You know, you can eat whatever you want, just not this one. Be in fellowship with me, right? And man was like, nah. They were like, nah. They're like, I want to do my own thing. I'm going to choose sin. Right? And so from that moment on, set the tone for all of humanity. Okay? From that moment on, humanity said, I choose sin. Sorry, God. Right? So we were separated from God in that moment because of our choice to sin. Right? Now, I know what you're saying is like, Liam, bro, that's not fair because Adam really blew it for the whole human race. Well, check it out. You would have done the same thing. You know how I know? Because every human from that point to this point has continuously chose sin. Every single one of us, right? So I don't want to hear it. Miss me with that, okay? Now, when you realize that humans are not just this, you know, we're poor, innocent, just minding our own business, and God is this meanie, you know? No, when you realize that every human is a criminal on the run from the law, the perfect, just law of God, who has the right to create a law because he made the darn universe, and that you are on the wrong end of things. You are a criminal on the run for the law who has to pay the fine for your sin, for these bad things that you've done, right? So, and now God is also perfectly just, right? And that just means that he loves justice, right? As do all of us. We're always talking about justice. You see justice in the news constantly because we have this inherent need for justice to be enacted, right? And God is that way too. God needs to enact justice, right? Or else he's not a perfectly just God. So he can't just, hey, I saw that time you lied to your best friend. It's all good. It's our little secret, bro. Or hey, bro, I saw that time you cheated on your wife, dog. It's all good. It's our secret, right? So God just can't wink at our sin, right? Hey, bro, I saw that time you stole, bro. I saw that. It's all good. It's all good. He can't do that because that's not justice, right? That's God letting us off without any kind of justice being enacted, right? So that leaves us with some bad news. Right? And here, that is the bad news. The bad news is that every single one of us is a criminal on the run from the law, and God can't just wink at our sin. He has to enact justice. But since God is the one that we have committed our crimes against, he is the only one who can forgive us, right? But since he is also the judge, he has to enact justice. So how does he do that? God says, you know what? I'm going to eat it. I am going to eat the cost of your sin on me, right? I'm going to take the hit. I have to enact justice. Justice has to be served. Sin has to be paid for, right? So God says, you know what? I'm going to just take it on me. I'm going to just take it on me because I love y'all, right? So God becomes a man. It says that in John, the word became flesh and dwelt among us. That's Jesus. Jesus came to earth to live the life that we couldn't live. A perfect life to show us a perfect example of how we should live. And then died the death that every single one of us should have died. Every single one of us is a criminal. And so God pays for it himself through the person of Jesus Christ. And here's the good news, that gospel, right, that we were talking about. Here's the good news, y'all. Y'all ready for it? If you believe and confess with your mouth that Jesus Christ is risen from the grave and that he is Lord, and you repent from your sin, ain't nobody got nothing on you. You're set free, baby. Jesus says, I paid it. Paid in full, baby. Come on. And that is the good news. That's the good news. That's the gospel in a nutshell. You're a criminal. Jesus is a judge. You have to pay. He says, I will pay for you if you accept my offer. If we accept that offer, we can be saved and spend eternity with a Jesus who loves us and a Father who would sacrifice his only son for us. That is the good news. How beautiful is that, y'all? Now, I know some of y'all have been real patient sticking to this video, right? You're saying, Liam, bro, I am a Christian already. I know this. I'm about to give you guys a good tip that I used to share the gospel with people in a way that doesn't seem awkward, because I know at first, when I first became a Christian, I'm like, man, I got the gospel. I'm saved. I gotta go save my friends. I gotta go let them know that this is sick. This is dope. Jesus is awesome. I gotta let them know, right? But then you start in the conversation, you're like, man, this is gonna be really weird if I bust out this Jesus thing on them right now. So I'm gonna give you guys a practical tip that I use to share the gospel with people, and that is just ask them questions, right? So typically what I will do is I'll say, like, if it's my friend or my coworker or someone that I want to share the gospel with, right? A seemingly harmless question, be like, bro, you ever think about the afterlife? It's a kind of a shower thought, like, kind of question, right? It doesn't seem to be super duper deep, right? Most people will say, yeah, like, you know, I think there's an afterlife, right? Some people don't, like if they're atheist, and you can work with that, right? But most of them will say, yeah, I think there's an afterlife. And if they don't, then you say, oh, well, that's cool. Like, I do think in an afterlife. And then they might ask you questions and you ask them questions, right? And then so normally the conversation, in my experience, at some point will come around to, they'll lay out exactly what they think. And then they'll say, but I don't know though. What do you think? Boom. Door open. You share that gospel. You say, you know what? Those are really good points, bro. You know what? That's a good point. But here's how I see it. And then you share the gospel with them. And you can adjust that in a way that suits you. But that's a pretty practical way that I have found to share the gospel with people. And that's just ask them questions. And so that's all I got for y'all. Thank you for sticking to the end of this video. So make sure you hit that like and that subscribe, because we're trying to get something going here with this YouTube channel. We're trying to reach people for Jesus, baby. Love you guys. Peace.